Hey guys, Simon Trezellian here, the voice of reason. And yeah, let's talk about socialists today. So you've seen what's just happened in the primary in New York, and Mamdani, he's obviously pretty boy, liked by AOC, got a lot of fire in his belly, and he reminds me of like a Che Guevara, very much so, even in his policies. And I think it's going to be a really interesting time for New York, which is obviously, the largest liberal city probably in the world. And they're really painting themselves into a corner because the policies that he's got, like 65 billion million for transgender surgery, universal healthcare, free buses, grocery stores. How is this going to get paid? Because the people that he's going to alienate, because he's saying, we'll tax the rich, tax the rich. There's a lot of rich people that live in New York, clearly, but that gets pretty old when they're having to pay for all of his policies. And this is why you're seeing this massive exodus, like they did in California, where everyone in California seems to be going to Colorado or to Arizona. And everyone in New York seems to be going to Florida. So all the people that are going to be supposedly paying for all these policies are just going to flee. They're just going to go. And you're going to have this socialist hellhole. I saw this in East Germany back in the day, and I've seen what state grocery stores are like. And people get bored waiting 7 hours in a line in the snow to pick up a loaf of bread, if they're lucky. And that's the way it will go. And I think that this is going to be reflective of the Democratic Party in general throughout the whole of the United States, because they're going to see this like populist uprising. They've seen what Trump can do, and they're trying to model it themselves. The Democrats have got no one. Right? No one with the same type of personality as Trump, and they're hoping that this guy may be that. So you're going to start to see very much more progressive stuff going on in the safe blue states. Doesn't mean it's going to be successful. It just means that they'll win local elections, but they're never going to win a national election with this type of thing. Can you imagine it? Really, you work all your life to be successful, and then all of a sudden you're paying for other people that haven't worked. And that's the problem with socialism, is that eventually you run out of everyone else's money. And that's exactly what's going to happen in New York. And it'll become like a corporate city, where everyone will have their place of abode and their taxable residence outside of New York. So they won't get hit for these huge taxes, and they'll just work in there. And I think that's going to be a massive shame, because New York will become unlivable, totally unlivable. It'll be run by the gangs, it'll be run by socialists, and that has never worked. Everyone points to places like Sweden and says, yeah, that works. Sweden's not a socialist country. It has social programs, but it's not a socialist country. If you want to look at where a socialist country has been out there, just look at Venezuela, look at Nazi Germany, look at Soviet Russia, look at the Eastern European countries, during the 80s. That is socialism, and I've seen it firsthand, and it is ugly, it is dreary, it is grey, and all socialism does is just raise the level of misery. That's all it does. So good luck, New York. I think New York, you're going to be a failed city pretty soon if you let this guy in. So I think Mayor Adams has a good chance to counter it now. If Cuomo drops out, and he should do. He ran a stupid campaign. That guy is toxic. He was, with all of his sexual stuff, he was never going to do it. And Silva, the Republican, he's always there, and it's just like in the British elections where you have the monster raving loony party, there's always someone there that is just there to take up votes. Everyone needs to get behind Eric Adams and to see if they can get him in. I don't know if it's going to work. Perhaps they just want to try this guy, but you're just going to be voting in Che Guevara. That's me for what my opinion's worth. that I've seen socialism and it ain't pretty. Take care. Bye bye now.